This Civic Media podcast is sponsored by UW Organ and Tissue Donation. Organ donations are desperately needed, and now is the right time to become an organ donor. Talk to your family. Get the dot. Save lives. Go to heroicdeed.com.
This is your WXCO Daily News Roundup for Bull Falls Radio, 98.9 FM and 1230 AM in Wausau.
For WXCO News, I'm Brittany Merlot. The oldest living U.S. president of all time has passed away. Former President Jimmy Carter died at 100 years old. Wisconsin Governor Tony Evers said, quote, "Former President Carter was a committed and dedicated advocate for peace, human rights, and treating others with dignity, decency, and respect." Carter served one term as president after being elected in 1976, and in 2002, he won a Nobel Peace Prize for his work with the Carter Center. And one of the globe's biggest businesses is putting a pause on a major Racine County project. Stuart J. Waddles has more.
Microsoft has temporarily suspended construction on portions of its massive data center complex in Mount Pleasant. The Milwaukee Business Journal reports that the company is working to refine the project's design. Microsoft has announced plans to invest $3.3 billion and to create 2,300 union construction jobs by next year. The Business Journal says the company is telling them that the project is still on track despite the pause. The village of Mount Pleasant has issued a statement stating confidence in Microsoft's plans.
And a Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources rule banning the carrying of firearms while fishing has been temporarily lifted. Lisa Hale has more.
Last week, the Republican-controlled Joint Committee for Review of Administrative Rules announced the change and reiterated their intent to make that change permanent in the future. The rule was the subject of a lawsuit against the DNR by a conservative legal group, and the agency agreed to repeal the rule as part of a settlement agreement. The DNR is still reminding anglers that it's illegal to shoot fish, even with the rule change.
And there's another positive bird flu test, this time in a commercial poultry flock in Burnett County. Officials say the farm will not be allowed to move any poultry products to prevent the spread of the highly contagious disease, and the DHS is monitoring any workers who may have been exposed. And with the new year right around the corner, the Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation is working to find more creative solutions to affordable housing issues across the state. The agency has been providing funds through programs like community development investment and idle site redevelopment grants to convert buildings like former motels and commercial facilities into affordable housing units. Access to housing has been identified as one of the biggest challenges facing Wisconsin residents for 2025. And the Wisconsin State Legislature may consider the legalization of medical marijuana again in the next session. With new district maps, Republican state lawmakers hold a smaller majority in both chambers of the legislature, and some have expressed a willingness to engage in medical marijuana discussions once again. The topic has been considered in the past, but lawmakers were unable to come to an agreement on how to best regulate medical marijuana, and the previous plan was opposed by Democratic legislatures as too restrictive. And gas prices are expected to drop in 2025 for the third straight year. GasBuddy, which has accurately forecasted gas prices the past several years, expects the national average for regular gas to fall to $3.22 per gallon. That would mark the lowest annual average since 2021. Believe it or not, the deadline to file to run for office in the next election is coming up soon, on January 11th. With more, here's Jimmy Kuska.
Are you interested in running for a local nonpartisan office this spring? Now is the time to get your paperwork in. To get on the ballot for the upcoming spring election, you'll need to be eligible for the office you're running for, file a notification of candidacy, circulate nomination papers, and file a campaign finance form. If you don't file your paperwork in time, you can still register as a write-in up until noon the Friday before the spring election on April 1st.
And starting this week, the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources will be celebrating their 125th anniversary of the state park system. Lisa Hale has the story.
The DNR is planning a number of events across the state to celebrate the milestone anniversary, beginning with the first day hikes on January 1st. Information on which parks near you will be hosting a hike can be found on the DNR's website. 2025 will also see a new state park pass rule with stickers now valid for 12 months from the time they're purchased instead of through the end of the year.
And gas prices fell again last week, dropping nearly 6 cents per gallon for an average of $2.75 across the state. 2024 marks the second year in a row of declining prices on the national level as we close out the year. And officials at GasBuddy expect another price cycle in the Great Lakes region. But overall, the national average should remain mostly stable. Today, in the Wausau area, prices range from $2.48 to $2.59 per gallon. And the Wausau Police Department took second place in a national recruitment video contest, finishing just behind Chula Vista, California's police department. Now, their population is approximately 6 times larger than Wausau, so they got about 3 times as many votes. But for a small town, Wausau's second place finish is a victory. They defeated several other notable departments, including the Portland Police Department and Virginia State Police. As the holiday travel season starts to wind down, the Wisconsin Department of Motor Vehicles is once again reminding residents to upgrade to a real ID. Because starting in May, regular driver's licenses or ID cards will not be accepted for flights or entering federal buildings and military bases. DMV officials say about 60% of eligible residents already have a real ID, which they started issuing in 2013. To get a real ID, residents will need to bring proof of their name, date of birth, address, and a social security number to their local DMV office. And AAA is using GPS to keep roadside technicians a little safer in Wisconsin. Lisa Hale has more.
Spokesperson Brianna Knapp says AAA is integrating its roadside assistance calls with a pair of GPS providers. Drivers who use Waze or Google Maps for navigation will receive an alert when they approach a AAA member or technician on the roadside. Knapp says nationally, every other week a roadside technician dies on the road as a first responder. Knapp says users will have the feature automatically integrated and no registration is required. Knapp says AAA hopes the new feature will reduce unnecessary roadside deaths in Wisconsin.
And a grant gave the Wausau Fire Department some state-of-the-art gear. The Community Foundation of North Central Wisconsin funded the department's specialized equipment for 8 paramedics, who they work in partnership with the Marathon County Sheriff's multi-agency SWAT team, responding to high-risk situations. They received winter clothing, armor plate carriers, tactical footwear, tactical clothing, and even night vision units. These paramedics are specially trained to provide critical medical care in dangerous and unpredictable environments. I'm Brittany Merlot for WXCO.
The Packers are swept by the Vikings. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. For the second time this season, the Packers lost to the Vikings, again by just 2 points, the final 27-25 at U.S. Bank Stadium. Packers running back Josh Jacobs asked if the team has lost any confidence after being swept by both the Lions and now the Vikings this season.
Not at all. I told our guys at halftime, believe in ourselves. At the end of the day, like I said, we did a lot of things I feel like was on us. So I told our guys, believe in ourselves. I don't think it was nobody in here that believed that we were just going to lose. I think everybody had the belief that we was going to pull it out some type of way. We just fell short today.
The Packers will host the Bears next Sunday at noon. Men's college hockey. The Badgers beat the Yukon Huskies 4-3 to win the holiday face-off at Five Surf Forum in Milwaukee. It's the third time in 4 years Wisconsin has won the tournament. NBA, the Bucks are in Indianapolis tomorrow afternoon against the Pacers on New Year's Eve. Tip-off time at 2 p.m. With sports, I'm Mike Clemens.
On your entertainment beat, I'm Pete Schwaba. Here's one of Pete's picks, Wisconsin. Check out the film Conclave. The film tells the story of the cardinals converging on Rome to select the next pope. Ray Fiennes is our Access character who manages the whole scene as potential candidates jockey for position to become the next pontiff. Lots of unexpected twists and great storytelling. In addition to Fiennes, the film stars John Lithgow, Stanley Tucci, and Isabella Rossellini. Just under 2 hours, but doesn't feel like it. Check it out. So much TV to watch, so little time. If you're a horror fan, check out TheWrap.com's recent list of the best horror episodic TV shows from 2024, which include AMC's Interview with a Vampire Season 2, Paramount Plus's last season of Evil, which The Wrap called an almost perfect show. Walking Dead fans will be thrilled to hear that Rick and Michonne's show, The Ones Who Live, was also on the list, as was a show many horror fans have talked about called What We Do in the Shadows. Check out the full list and watch them all. Batman fans eagerly awaiting the second installment of the new franchise will have to tap the brakes. Variety reports that the Matt Reeves-directed Batman 2 has been delayed a year and will now hit theaters in 2027. The film was originally slated for an IMAX release that would hit theaters October 2nd of 2026. Warner Brothers has announced that taking those screens will be a new Tom Cruise film that they are hoping to get on the big screen to qualify for the 2026 Oscar season. Here's one of Pete's picks. The Order, starring Jude Law as an FBI agent tracking a white supremacist group, is a really solid watch. Based on a true story from the 1980s, Law tracks the gang as they rob banks and set bombs off, terrorizing the Pacific Northwest. The film has good action and is a great detective story. The Order also stars Nicholas Hoult as the leader of the criminal group, Ty Sheridan as a local sheriff's deputy and Journey Smollett as an FBI agent. The film has been a hit with critics and audiences alike. Strongly recommend. Looking ahead to 2025, Variety has put out its annual list of most anticipated movies. As you might have guessed, there are a lot of franchise and superhero films headed our way. Marvel is expected to release Captain America: Brave New World, Thunderbolts, and the Fantastic Four: First Steps. And believe it or not, Hollywood has a few sequels they are planning to throw at us in the new year, including a Jurassic Park film and Five Nights at Freddy's Part 2. Another superhero flick, James Gunn's Superman, will also hit theaters in June. There will be a healthy assortment of family films, including Paddington in Peru, a Minecraft movie, Zootopia 2, and SpongeBob: The Search for SquarePants. I need a pair of those after the holidays. Looking well into next year, Hollywood will not let you forget that the second installment of Wicked for Good, opens next Thanksgiving. If that wasn't enough, James Cameron will also be putting out yet another Avatar film. Horror fans can also look forward to the third installment of Danny Boyle's 28 Days trilogy. For more showbiz fun, tune in to Nightlight with me, Pete Schwaba, weeknights from 6 to 8 p.m. on the Civic Media Radio Network.
It's the last time we'll see the sunshine this year. With partly sunny skies today, will become mostly cloudy by tonight, with more areas of dense fog. High temperatures today stay mild, tapping the upper 30s, and tonight slide below freezing to the mid-20s. I'm meteorologist Brittany Merlot. It's 40 degrees at our studios.
That's your WXCO Daily News Roundup from Civic Media. Subscribe to this podcast on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you find your podcasts. Find more news at bullfallsradio.com. The national news cycle never stops, but it can be hard to find news about your local community. Civic Media is dedicated to providing quality local and state news coverage across Wisconsin. With the Civic Media app, you can get notifications about local stories that matter to you and your community. Find the free Civic Media app in your phone's app store and choose notifications from the menu to tell us what kind of news you want to hear about.